This episode of Neo Reality Collective is brought to you by The Everyday Fan. Check out their content and a passionate group of content creators getting together to create content for the growing community of pop culture, fan base, fandoms, and especially sports such as football, basketball, baseball, professional wrestling, and MMA fantasy sport. Control your content and share your story around the world today.
The Neo Reality Entertainment brand expands with a relaunch of the Neo Reality Collective Pop Culture News Talk. Your host, Eric Brown, gives his insights and thoughts in the ever-expanding news world of comic books, professional wrestling, gaming, TV, and movies. Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.
Welcome everyone to Neo Reality Collective episode 55, and ladies and gentlemen, we have to start this off with DC WarnerBros Discovery news, and it's not the good kind of news. At all. Yeah. So, even though the movie isn't out yet, and the actor who's in the movie could likely go to jail and be put in prison for 26 years, they already have a script for Flash 2 with Ezra Miller involved. Oh God. I'm like, just when we were finally gonna get Man of Steel 2. Yeah, DC, so yeah, Ezra Miller already has a script ready set for them, and Man of Steel 2 is now being eyed on with Henry Cavill back in the wake of the Black Adam movie, which is awesome. They have an intense desire to see Cavill on the red cape once more, and in fact, a project that would essentially be Man of Steel 2 after over 10 years. Meanwhile, Matt Reeves is playing to several Batman villains spin-off series with, So, yeah, Matt Reeves has been a busy camper. He had the Riddler and the Penguin, and the deleted third villain was planned with the Joker. But Reeves has talked in the past about different villains he was exploring, including Mr. Freeze, and it seems like he's going to explore more characters in the Batman side of the DC universe. Like we already have a Penguin series and an Arkham Asylum series. Now we're going to get a Scarecrow series, it's seen. Other projects, Scarecrow, Clayface, Professor Pig. How about we get one on Poison Ivy and see how that works? Just saying. Though at the same time, I think they're still on the fence about, is she a villain? Is she not a villain? Is she a hero? Could she become a hero? Anti-hero? Or Harley Quinn's girlfriend? We're still on the up and up on that. And, yeah. Oh, by the way, Ezra Miller pleaded not guilty for the horrible things they done, and now faces 26 years in prison if they fail the court. Oh dear. So, that happened. Meanwhile, Twisters, remember that movie? Where we got tornadoes and whatnot? Well, surprisingly, they're giving a sequel for Twisters. Okay. So according to reports, it came out that Frank Marshall is set to produce the upcoming sequel, and Twister was well received by audience and critics, so perhaps a sequel was inevitable according to the article. But according to Deadline, the upcoming Twister sequel has currently meeting with directors as Universal and Ambien are hoping for a start to production in spring. Apparently, it's been in development since 2020, but then the pandemic happened, so I'm pretty sure things got delayed. So, yeah. We got Top Gun Maverick, but I didn't even see Twister being a possibility of a sequel. It seemed pretty one and done. I mean, it's a story about tornado hunters for the most part, and an awkward love triangle. So, yeah. It's weird. Meanwhile, EA is going to be shutting down a bunch of servers soon for several games: Mirror's Edge, NBA Jam on Fire Edition, Gatling Gears, and Shank 2. Never heard of that. Along with that, Army of 2 is going to get shut down. Dragon Age Origins, Command & multiplayer screenshot server, Command & Conquer, Red Alert 3, Tiberium Wars, Kane's Wrath, Mercenaries 2, World in Flames. I'm gonna be real, I didn't even know that was still a thing. Like, me and my friends played it a lot, but still. Onrush, Mirror's Edge, NBA Jam, Gatling Gears, and Shank 2. Since, Ubisoft shut down their servers recently, but, I'm a little amazed how long those servers stayed up. I didn't even know Dragon Age Origins had a multiplayer component with screenshot servers. The more you know. The more you know. Meanwhile, Benedict Cumberbatch talked about Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness. He apparently said, I wanted it to be even darker than it already was. And he said this in an interview, during an interview with Prestige. I suggested I need to get darker at a point. There was slightly more scary inversion at one stage, and I'm really happy with the way it evolved. Sam Raimi was so game for it, and Michael Waldron really supported me to write it as well. So, yeah, one of these versions may have well been a Marvelous Melvin, a rather a tame version of Doctor Strange that exists in one of the multiverse's worlds, where he was no more than a performer of stage magic. But while concept art of that character was produced, the character was eventually cut. We turned out what was a very small combat between the two of sort of very bizarre and intuitive battle at the moment. I really loved it. It was how the original was pitched to me a long while back when Scott Derrickson was still working with us. Strange would meet versions of himself. It was something that I wanted to lean into. We could have gone further, and maybe we'll go into the future. Who knows what the other versions we might need in a multiversal chapter of the MCU. But it was very enjoyable to play all the variants of myself. Cumberbatch also talked about how much he enjoyed playing against versions of himself, and that it helped him write some of the other scenes. That was the most fun bit. I absolutely loved it, and it sounds so egotistical. There we go. That's what actors are. But I love doing the scenes with myself because of the challenge of it, and I got to write some of those scenes. Currently, it's not known which scenes he wrote, but yeah. But we had Strange Supreme, and Sinister Strange and Zombie Strange, complete with the third eye, and the original ending does sound like something like Benedict Cumberbatch probably would have advocated for, where they do a fake out scene where it's revealed that it's Sinister Strange at the end, popping his third eye out instead of Strange just being back and then meeting his second love interest, and then being informed, oh, there's an incursion coming, we're all dead. Meanwhile, Obsidian, remember them? They're currently doing stuff on their own, and it's awesome, but they have had an innate desire about Fallout, saying, hey, are you working on a Fallout game? No. Oh. No, okay. Then he says, yeah, but I would unquestionably work on a new Fallout game if the opportunity arose. Though he doesn't know if Bethesda would ever ask to. I mean, you don't really need to ask Bethesda. You could just go to Microsoft and say, hey, could you, tell them to tell us we can make a Fallout game? Okay, sure. Okay, we got a Fallout game, everybody. Yeah, Microsoft, they could just do that. Todd Howard doesn't even care anymore. and we need a palate cleanser after the disaster that was Fallout 76 and that infamous story. Plus, I would love to see what's going on in the Mojave Wasteland after what we did. Besides all the retcons that they introduced in Fallout 4 that made me question, wait, then how the heck why was that never explained? Anyways. So, Friday the 13th, the final chapter actor Ted White tragically passed away at age 96. He died peacefully in his sleep at his home. Jason Voorhees is actor who played Jason Voorhees in it, and it was announced by convention runner, according to horror historian and convention runner Sean Clark. White died peacefully in his sleep at his home, saying, "I just got hit with the news that my dear friend Ted White passed away. I was told he passed away peacefully in his sleep at his home." Ah, yes. That's the dream a lot of people probably have, to just pass away in their sleep peacefully and not without any pain. And a lot of people are denied that. So remember that whole fiasco with Splinter Cell remake about how we're gonna reinvent this for a modern audience, to the point that we didn't know what the heck that even meant? Yeah, well, we got an update. The director left it. The director has left Ubisoft. So apparently he did leave on good terms. I mean, like, as much as you can say good terms for a corrupt company, but still. According to VGC, David Gervil had announced on LinkedIn that he'd be moving on to a new adventure following more than a decade working at Ubisoft. So now they're going to look for another one, but yeah, it's part of that whole exodus they're going through. I'm like, geez, I wonder why. I mean, like, it can't be because of all the horrible allegations and what recently been happening with a Twitch streamer and a Ubisoft manager being supportive about the horribleness in a very messed up way. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't feel like going dark on that route. But we will talk about this, though. G4 is being shut down. God damn it. According to Deadline, Comcast Spectator Chairman and CEO Dave Scott penned a letter to the all employees saying G4 is being discontinued immediately. After the fiasco that had happened recently, I mean, like, it's not even been a year, but considering what had recently happened on G4 as was reported, yeah, I'm pretty sure we saw this. I'm pretty sure everyone saw this, the writing on the wall. You probably should have had Xavier Woods still run everything. He would have made the most sense. So that happened. And things went crazy afterwards. I don't know the full details of it, but Adam Sizzler or whatever did something on Twitter and went crazy or something. I don't know, but yeah. Also, the showrunners J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, the showrunners of Lord of the Rings: Rings of Power, which has not gotten a good reception from what I've heard. I have yet to watch the show yet. I've been delaying myself for a minute because I wanted to finish one show before I moved on to another, which was House of the Dragon, so that was awesome. So they revealed details of their canceled Star Trek 4 script, which would have been like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in space. Oh god. Okay. It had been previously reported that Star Trek 4 was going to somehow bring together Chris Pines as James T. Kirk and his father George Kirk, played by Chris Hemsworth, but Payne and McKay gave a much clearer picture of the story that never was. The conceit was that through a cosmic quirk in the Star Trek world, the characters were the same age. It was going to be a grandfather-son grandfather-son space adventure. Or think Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade in space. We were really thrilled about it. We had an original villain and a really cool 2001 Space Odyssey-esque sci-fi idea at the core. And apparently, yeah, because they canceled Star Trek 4, that led to them eventually finding the way to Rings of Power, and considering how people have reacted to it, yeah, probably wasn't for the best. Though, that just leads to a question I have, besides, how do I say that? Why is there a cosmic thing in the universe that has to explain this? Like, it's not gonna be a time travel thing, I bet that, but like, yeah. But I would have been interested to see what it was, but really, I think I wouldn't be surprised if one of the reasons they canceled it was because, look, Star Wars already did a MacGuffin adventure that led to, well, total crap, but like, with the Rise of Skywalker, so we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna go ahead and have that. So, scrap everything and throw it out. Also, after William Hurt had been, passing away, they decided, okay, we could now, logically they were like, okay, we clearly can't recast General Thunderbolt Ross, because if we did that, then we would be having to recast T'Challa nonsense streaming up the storm. And plus, we could actually make a legacy kind of outing of this with the Thunderbolt movie. Who am I kidding? They're gonna go ahead and recast Thunderbolt Ross, which I'm sure is not gonna piss someone off in the recast T'Challa community. So yeah, who do they recast for this report? According to various sources from Twitter and from other sites of film, apparently they're gonna cast Harrison Ford as the general. Harrison Ford is the new Thunderbolt Ross. Okay, I'm gonna ask this very, very, very specific question. I mean, like, I'm not dismissing Harrison Ford, but like, what did I can't see the resemblance between him and William Hurt. Like, William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross had the clear, distinct style and aesthetic to him. Harrison Ford taking that role now, it's like, I don't see him as Thunderbolt Ross. I can't see him. Is probably because I saw him so much as these more adventurous characters with snark and whatnot, whereas Thunderbolt Ross is, well, a military guy and very, very, very wanting to punch in the face because he's so high-nosed on himself. And then he became Secretary of State because, of course, he did. I don't see Harrison Ford playing the role of Thunderbolt Ross. You could have just went with the idea I cooked up at the last minute, but yeah, yeah, like, you could have opened the movie up with the funeral of Thunderbolt Ross, and then it's revealed, the government reveals that they have the last legacy of Thunderbolt Ross, which was his own take on the Avengers Initiative called the Thunderbolts, and the new supervillain team-up movie and whatnot. Basically be their own version of the Suicide Squad, but without the head of the director on it. So there would be no Amanda Waller, the Wall. Oh dear. I know the recasting is going to cause problems for the T'Challa recasting community, because being all pissed off beyond belief, saying, why is T'Challa being not recast, but Thunderbolt Ross is? This is hashtag something 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 injustice. But yeah, Meanwhile, yeah. Moving on, Microsoft has laid off hundreds of staff across multiple departments. Less than 1,000 staff were laid off across divisions thought to include Xbox, the forward-looking Microsoft Strategic Missions and Technology Organization, and the Office of Chief Technology Officer. Studio Alpha, Microsoft's Series game initiative that focused on wargaming simulations, is also at risk of recording one source, according to the Mission Expansion Cloud government team. Microsoft Mission Engineering team may also be affected, as it led to Zach Kramer sent an email to employees announcing it would be deprioritizing work already underway. And we got this email saying how it was hard to do and everything. Casey Lemson was among those affected, announcing on Twitter that she had lost her role as product manager of the CFO's office. Another laid off staff member told insiders that he only been hired 1 month earlier. And Microsoft announced in July that it planned to lay off less than 1% of its workforce, which currently sits around at 880,000 people, putting towards 1,800 at risk, 1,800 at risk. It's unconfirmed that this most recent wave of layoffs is related to this July announcement, however. Which, okay, why did you hire people then and then get rid of one after just a month? Is this because of the multi-billion-dollar acquisition? It's because Microsoft's been battling, trying to prove, see, this is good for gaming. Meanwhile, speaking of very protective over confidential secrets, the Batman cast had lockable scripts with tracking devices to avoid leaks. Paul Dano, aka the Riddler, revealed that he was given a lockable binder with a tracking device to keep movie documents safe. Wow. And Matt Reeves even shot fake scenes in order to protect the major reveal in the film's final act. Wow. Pretty extreme, but okay. Meanwhile, Starfield, aka the game that's being made by Todd Howard, so be on the lookout for potential destruction, includes a throwback to an infamous Elder Scrolls NPC. As reported, an infamous NPC from Oblivion called Adoring Fan might just be making a return to Starfield. A video released by the developer last week shows the character creation menu and traces to one which is called Hero Worshipped. It reads, "You've earned the attention of an annoying, adoring fan who will show up randomly and jabber at you insistently. On the plus side, he'll give you gifts." I feel so sorry for you, man. I feel so sorry for you. I never played Oblivion, so I never got a chance to witness the insanity, but okay. Meanwhile, Mortal Kombat Onslaught is a new game that's set to be released on mobile, set for 2023, made by NetherRealm Studios. I don't know why this is a mobile game. Why couldn't this be a console game? Microtransactions. So they're telling us to screw ourselves. Okay, I see how it is. Meanwhile, Black Adam was originally rated R for its more violent kill scenes. So apparently they went through massive edits to downplay Black Adam to PG-13 because it was rated R for its grotesque violent killings. Oh god. Okay. So you had this cut Flynn estimated that Black Adam's original cut had around 10 moments of extreme violence, similar to those described, but they ended up with 4 or 5 in the edited version, which is set to hit theaters and whatnot, and they did. I want to see the director's cut so we can get that rated R content, because we need our grotesque violence. Meanwhile, Insomniac, despite rumors of a delay, have announced that Spider-Man 2 is still on track for 2023 release, saying, we're making good progress and is still slated for 2023. Showing games take time, effort, resources, and coordination. Yeah, good point. Like, it makes sense to not, like, they could post a teaser they want, but like, to say we want to see the game already after what happened with Grand Theft Auto 6's pre-alpha build, you would think that, this will take time. Nope, we still haven't learned our lesson. But I do got good news for the creative minds of Minecraft. A teenager named Christopher Slayton, who goes by the handle Chris Dakau, on YouTube, decided to take the sandbox's creative potential to its grandest scale yet by attempting to recreate the entire cosmos, or at least the elements we know best. He started off by painstakingly recreating the planet Earth. This would end up being a relatively humble beginning compared to what was to follow. However, it still took a block artist a grand total of 3 days to measure out the continent and get the surface colors, clouds, and lighting just right. Illuminating the globe proved to be a particularly challenging difficult, but by making the most tools that lets you paint with light, Slayton was able to give his creation immersive lighting gradients and effects. Then he went to conquer the cosmos. My God. So, yeah, this kid, I must stress, this is a teenager, somehow build the entire known universe in Minecraft and the elements that we are familiar with our science. It took a month. Wow, I'm impressed. This is impressive, I'll admit. So, I think it's so impressive, we're going to take a brief break. We'll be back after these messages and ad break, and we'll see y'all again later. Take care, and stay tuned for this ad break. Back, everybody. Let's top this whole thing off and get back to working. So, EA has teased the next generation of The Sims, dubbed Project Rene. What is it? Well, we don't know yet. Is it Sims 5? We don't know yet. So apparently it started off from the whole, when will we hear about The Sims 5? Well, Max CS has just unveiled what appears to be the next generation, but calling it Sims 5 may not be fully accurate. The working title for now is Project Rene, and it was first shown out during today's Behind the Sims Summit. The name Rene was chosen for its reference to words like renewal, renaissance, and rebirth, to represent the developer's renewed commitment to The Sims' bright future. Very early stages, and we likely won't know about it for several years. As such, we don't have a whole lot of details on it at the moment. But currently, what we do know, however, is that Maxis is revealing that Project Rene will be playable across multiple support devices and will function as both a solo experience as well as a collaboration with others, saying from the start The Sims defied life simulation games and has continued to grow into an incredible platform for creativity and self-expression, the vice president of franchise creative for The Sims said. Today marks the start of our journey over the next few years as we work on this next game and creative platform, currently titled Project Rene. We are building on the same foundation that's made Sims compelling for generations of players and pushing the boundaries to create new experiences. We'll have much more to share as we continue to progress this game's development and milestones along the way. However, Sims 4 will continue to update the community over the next few years, and early access will be offered to a small group over time. In addition to the reveal, other interesting tidbits with the presentation including a partnership with Overwolf, our new CurseForge mod manager, and discovery platform for user-generated content, a promise of monthly updates to The Sims 4 now that the game has gone free to play, and a few brief visual teases of 2 future Sims expansion packs. We also got a tease of infants, which are coming to Sims 4 at last, and no longer just stuck in cribs, in 2023. Yes! Because no one wants to go ahead and deal with whiny babies. We gotta deal with the devil infants. Excuse me, I just wanted to make a joke. So, yeah. Also, the UK agency has demanded Meta, aka Facebook, to sell GIPHY due to the risk of substantial lessening of competition in social media and display advertising market. As reported by CNBC, UK competition regulators made the final verdict on Tuesday, October 18th, in order Meta to sell GIPHY in its entirety to a suitable buyer. Currently, there's no writer at the moment. Following the rule, Meta says they are disappointed by the CMA's decision, but accept today's ruling as the final word on the matter. So yeah, they said we will work closely and we are grateful to the team during this uncertain time and all that stuff. But yeah, they bought this company back in 2020 for $400 million. And it got under scrutiny for CMA, for UK's Competition and Markets Authority. As I said, the potential anti-competitive as Meta controls nearly half of the UK's $7.9 billion hour in pounds display advertising market. This move, according to CMA, could lead to Facebook restricting and/or removing access to the GIPHY from its competitors and potentially require them to provide more data to keep their access. So, yeah, I think Activision-Blizzard's deal with Microsoft might be in trouble, but that's a completely different subject. Meanwhile, Netflix has decided after their painful quarters of subscribers losses, they have announced that we have rebounded. Proud to announce that they have, after losing $1 million in the prior quarter, primarily because of what's going on in Europe right now and Central Europe to Eastern Europe. Oh, God damn it. They have now regained that as they brought in 2.4 million new subscribers in the last quarter. And an earnings report reveals that just over half of those gains came from the Asian Pacific region, though all track segments, US, Canada, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Latin America, saw growth compared to the last quarter. An even larger increase than the 1 million rise the company predicted last quarter, but still down to the 2.2 million lift the company said this time last year, though. Attributes this growth as part of its bingeable release model for newer releases, specifically pointing to the Secrets of Monster the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Yeah, I'm sure that's not gonna be a problem. Which brought in 824 million viewership hours. Stranger Things Season 4 alone got 1.335 billion hours viewed. Considering how much long those episodes were, like, near moving late, it was kind of inevitable it got to that. They also gave a small update on the gaming segment where it mentioned it has 55 more video games in development for its platform, including more based on Netflix IP. Specifically, they cite how Cyberpunk Edgerunner resulted in an increase in people playing Cyberpunk 2077, indicating it wants to cash in on a similar relationship between shows and games within its own platforms. All this comes as Netflix prepared to at last issue its crackdown on account sharing, its ad-supported Netflix tier launching on November 3rd, and is currently testing a profile transfer feature to allow users to transfer history, save games, lists, and other settings to an account if they choose to start their own membership. Its earnings report suggests that it's a thoughtful approach to account sharing will begin roll out more broadly in early 2023. They expect 4.5 million new subscribers in the coming quarter, though it doesn't seem to believe that its ad support team will provide a meaningful segment on that surge. So, Yeah, Netflix has rebounded from their massive losses. Good for them, good for them. Until something stupid happens, and then we'll go back to square one with Netflix. But it's nice to see things are rebounding for them for a little bit. Meanwhile, a producer from House of the Dragon came out and said they have no idea how Daemon Targaryan became an internet boyfriend. Yeah, Sarah Hess says that the outpouring love for Daemon online makes no sense. He's saying he's become an internet boyfriend in a way that baffles me. Not that Matt's incredibly charismatic and wonderful, and he's incredible in that role, but Daemon himself is. I don't want him as my boyfriend. Well, you see, they like the bad boy. They like the bad boys being rebels and whatnot. That and, like, people loved Loki, and he was a psychotic killer until his redemption arc, and then he died, and then came back, and time travel shenanigans. So, anyways, plus, Daemon Targaryen also, back in episode 5, murdered his wife and then told the cousin of his wife, hey, anyways, can I keep her stuff? Like, she had no heir, so I'm gonna make a petition to, like, take her stuff, and then I'll go marry someone else. And at his cousin's wedding, as niece's wedding, oh god damn it. So, yeah, apparently, I'm like, at least, I don't get it either, but this is the internet for you. You should be expecting the weird madness. Also, the upcoming Ironheart series that's been in development for a while, apparently there's been rumors that Sacha Baron Cohen has been tipped for the role in Ironheart, and according to Deadline, the British actor could be brought in the upcoming Marvel project of a long-awaited villain that everyone has been clamoring for since WandaVision, and since Spider-Man, and since the show before that, since Multiverse of Madness, because people will not shut up about it. Instead of just waiting, Mephisto. A source close to the production confirmed to Deadline that there has been talk on the set of Conan and being part of Ironheart likely playing Mephisto. Yeah. If I had to... Well, actually it makes sense because while WandaVision, Spider-Man... Like, we all know the Spider-Man story of Mephisto and his connection with Peter Parker and his unyielding hatred for all Spider-Men, as was established. Anyways, as that was going on, he also had a brief run with the Champions that Ironheart was a part of, with Ms. Marvel leading the team, and he made a deal with Miles Morales, and unlike Parker, this one made more believable sense, and also let him keep his memories of the fact that everyone died that mission. In Marvel's Champions issue 1-4, Beat the Devil. Yeah, and he was even a major player in creating Wanda's children, Tommy and Billy, at least in the comic books. So, yeah, gonna be interesting if Mephisto does show up and see what he pulls up on his sleeves. Or nothing at all. He'll probably just say, I'm having fun, I'm bored out of my mind. Meanwhile, Alan Moore, when asked about anything, because when it comes to his projects, during an interview with GQ, he decided to talk about the Watchmen TV show, and oh dear. How do I say this delicately? Alan Moore hates the Watchmen HBO series. And Basically, he had told the showrunner of the show to never contact him again. And this was because the person asked him, "Dear Moore, I am one of the bastards currently destroying Watchmen." That was apparently his opener. It was on a lot of what seemed to be to me neurotic rambling, saying, "Can you at least tell us how to pronounce Ozymandias or Ozymandias?" Ozymandias. I just call him that. Like, we also get the Ozymandias statement, but like that's about it. And he basically told him, go F yourselves. I don't like talking about this. I don't want anything to do with your show. Do not bother me again. Look, I get the story of Alan Moore and his history with DC especially, and what the fallouts were from that, but like, dude, you're crazy, you know that? And that's not because of the beard. So, moving on from Alan Moore's deranged madness, but I did find it bold the showrunner would say, "Hey, Alan Moore, I'm currently the newest bastard to destroy your beloved creation that you were wrongfully robbed of because of a deal with DC that led to the publishing a bunch of stuff." I'm like, it could be worse. Uwe Boll could have been in charge of it. And then God knows what would have happened. Poor bastards, they would never survive. But, yeah, Alan Moore is going to be Alan Moore, so why is anyone surprised at this point? Anyways, Callisto Protocol confirms it's not delayed and promises a 60 frames per second performance mode. Yeah, there were rumors that the developers had to announce on Twitter saying, nope, the game is still on its way for December 2nd, 2022, despite a post from other games listing it February 12, 2023, as reported by The Gamer. We would love to inform you all that we will be shipping globally on December 2nd. And yes, we'll have a 60 frames performance mode in the following later update. So, apparently it looks like Epic Games' release date was just down to a simple error, so congrats on the horrorness that is to come. So, meanwhile, as Activision-Blizzard continues to face upheaval battles with unionization and yada 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 because of their horribleness, the National Labor Relations Board has approved Blizzard Albany's 21 quality assurance workers' request to vote to unionize. Yes! So, and naturally, Activision-Blizzard's like, we disagree with the decision that could significantly impact the future of the entire Studio Diablo team that should be made by just a handful of employees. Given our tightly integrated operations, all of our eligible non-supervisory employees that should have a voice to be allowed to vote, not just the approximately 20 quality assurance testers picked by the union. Okay, then how about you treat them as human beings, and we probably wouldn't have been in this mess, or, not be a horrible company, then you probably wouldn't have been in this mess. Meanwhile, Lawrence Fishburne and The Matrix Resurrection happened, and people wondered if Lawrence Fishburne thought he missed out by not being in The Matrix Resurrection to be Morpheus. He just says, no, not really. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, and it wasn't as good as I hoped it would be, but I thought Carrie Ann and Keanu really did their thing. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, and then they had an AI version of him by Morpheus, and there wasn't a definitive answer why he was never asked to come back. You see, there's actually a reported canonical reason why he was not brought back, because he died in the 2005 video game Matrix Online. And if you're wondering why are they using a dead MMO to use as the canonical status, your guess is as good as mine. Because if you're going to include very tightly critical information in a MMO that's no longer active, and you only have to find it on YouTube or Wiki or fandom, then you're doomed. And oh god, it's like, to understand like a portion of the Matrix Resurrection, I think you would have to read the supplementary material from what I've gathered. Like, it's Rise of Skywalker all over again, but not as infuriatingly so. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh god. Meanwhile, God of War Ragnarok's is Atreus actor, apparently suffered a very straight condition with the had to get creative over the young son of the God of War. Well, they had to explain how there was a problem with the sequel's development. The actor got older, and his voice changed dramatically because of puberty. Our actor for Atreus study is a teenage boy, and his voice changed dramatically throughout the several years on this tower. We had to go in and even out that performance, so it sounds like it took place over a short period of time. That was the unique challenge for this on this one. Oh man, then the pandemic probably had to have problems with it. We avoided compromising the story we were trying to deal with as a result of the pandemic and those limitations we had to deal with. There were no cinematics that we changed. We still had the same characters in them in the final game. We just had to get a bit creative how we shot the content. They had to avoid having too many voice actors on set at any one time, so they resorted to voice actors doubling up to play additional background characters. This allowed them to be able to avoid situations where too many people were on set on any given day. They also had some actors stand in for others on the day. However, even with this rapidly deepening voice, I can't help but thinking it's unlikely the voice took over Kratos at any point. Yep. Puberty. Especially for a kid actor. Bad timings, huh? Meanwhile, WarnerBros system requirements for Gotham Knights that recently came out are very demanding, apparently. I am not a technobabble crazy guy, so I'm not going to talk about this. Anyways, the UK's government's investigation into Microsoft's $69 billion deal with Activision-Blizzard has revealed the company is currently developing its own xCloud mobile store to rival Apple and Google. As reported, they presented documents to the UK's Competition and Markets Authority. They claim its purchasing of Call of Duty publishers in part to expand its mobile game presence. This transaction will improve the ability to create next-gen game store, which operates across a range of devices, including mobile, as a result of the addition of content. Building on Activision Blizzard's existing community of gamers, Xbox will seek to scale the Xbox store to mobile, attracting gamers to a new mobile platform. Shifting consumers away from Google Play and App Stores on mobile devices, however, will require a major shift in consumer behavior. Microsoft hopes that by offering well-known and popular content, gamers will be more inclined to try something new. Building on the existing communities of gamers, Xbox will seek to scale back and attracting gamers to the new mobile platform. It's unclear what exactly the Xbox mobile store will look like, but it will likely see more of a dedicated way for users to purchase play games with the Xbox Cloud Gaming directly from a mobile phone. While this is unlike services it already offers, they would also allow Microsoft to give developers more freedom to sell add-ons directly, an issue that Microsoft has spoken about pursuing previously. This can make the Xbox platform more desirable to developers who, unlike Apple's App Store, want to lose a portion of the profit for every microtransaction. So does that mean they would have to? This would be exclusive on their own phone, because unlike Apple, they tend not to share their store with anyone else. And like Android's alright with it, but like Apple iPhone isn't. Yeah. Plus, they even have a back in August, Sony also announced a dedicated PS Studios mobile division. So the mobile wars are beginning. Got it. Can't wait for the insanity. Meanwhile, after over a decade, the author Rick Riordan has announced the sixth mainline Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Challenge of Gods, 8 years after the previous novel was released. Nearly a decade after the release of The Blood of Olympus, Percy Jackson and the others will star in a brand new adventure from Rick Riordan. And Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Clarence of Gods. It will go on sale on September 26, 2023. After 1 month after the new first trailer for the new Percy Jackson Olympians adaptation for their content library of Disney+, the series announced in 2020, and Disney later received backlash for the casting of Abeneth, who was previously played by a black actress, so, that's gonna be pissed. And trolls upset by the casting rallied to have the 12-year-old's TikTok account banned. Because of course. And the author came to her defense saying, if you have a problem with this casting, take it up with me, you have no one else to blame. Whatever else you take from this post, we should be able to agree that bullying and harassing a child online is inexcusably wrong. As strong as Leah is, as much as we have discussed the potential of this kind of reaction and the intense pressure this role will bring, the negative comments she has received online are out of line. They need to stop now. Oh, and they also included Edge from WWE, so I'm sure that's cool. Meanwhile, DC Films has been rejoicing secretly behind the scenes. Walter Hamada has left, according to Deadline, after 15 years. So, yeah. So, Batgirl was the straw that broke the camel's back, and yeah, that was part of the deal. If once Black Adam, okay, Walter Hamada, I know everyone hates you and everyone will be glad you're gone, but we need you to stick around at least until Black Adam comes about, because I know you're pissed about Batgirl, so could you wait? And sure enough, Walter Hamada left after Black Adam came out. Meanwhile, She-Hulk attorney at law creator Jessica Gao has revealed that her original pitch for this Disney Plus series featured the leader from the upcoming Captain America 4 New World Order. New World Order. While speaking to Comic Book about her initial plans, Gao admitted that she included Samuel Stearns, aka the leader, as an option for one of the villains in the series. She explained that she had to put the idea on the table very early on, but it ultimately ended up being scrapped for reasons that she could no longer recall. Captain America. In my original pitch, I did have the leader in there, just as an option, as a suggestion, but really I can't remember why it was scrapped. I don't remember if it was organically taken out because we just came up with other stuff where we were told no. I honestly don't remember. So, yeah. And the last time we saw the leader, they set him up back in 2008's Incredible Hulk. Oh god, that was a thing, remember? Yeah, remember those days, 2008 Hulk, Edward Norton, and they addressed it, saying it happened, but maybe very differently compared to the one that we get now. But yeah. Those were sane times. I haven't even watched She-Hulk yet, but I have heard of the insanity of what's come out of it. Meanwhile, Silent Hill had their big event happening, and they announced Silent Hill 2 Remake from the Bloober team during the transmission event. Okay. They're remaking Silent Hill 2, and they showcase Pyramid Head coming to PlayStation 5 and Steam. I want to be excited, but at the same time, this is modern Konami, so yeah. Meanwhile, there's going to be a new movie of Silent Hill called Return to Silent Hill from the original Silent Hill director confirmed. Yeah. The director, Christopher Gans, who also directed the original one from 2006, but this is the official confirmation, and the movie will be based on Silent Hill 2 and will be more of a psychological horror. Horror says that the plan is to make it modern and also very true to the game, and will include the familiar monsters but updated for the new version. Saying the script is totally independent from the two previous movies made and respects the way Silent Hill has evolved. Silent Hill is a bit like the Twilight Zone, the fourth dimension, a place where anything and everything can happen. I worked on a new Silent Hill, which is the Silent Hill of the year 2023, since the film will be released next year in 2023, and not a Silent Hill as I imagined in 2006. Congrats. Also, there's going to be a live Silent Hill event called Silent Hill Ascension. And it's coming out in 2023, and they mentioned a series of image chat bubbles from users discussing whether or not they could save her. Also being made in partnership with a streaming software company of J.J. Abrams' film and TV production company gaming arm, Bad Robot Games. Dead by Daylight Studio, Behavior Interactive, and video game to TV specialist production company DJ2 Entertainment. With those names on board, we could probably guess that this is some sort of hybrid video game live stream experience with an interactive component, but we'll have to wait until more details come out. And they were inspired by watching streamers playing Silent Hill with the audience and the feeling of being scared together, like with watching horror movies in the film. It's a live, real-time interactive series where audience were able to change the outcome of the story and participate in scenes. Critically, we're told there's no reset button, outcomes are set, and fans will have the chance to shape Silent Hill canon forever. Ambitious, but okay. And last but not least, to end this week of news on, Silent Hill F is revealed as a new game set in 1960s Japan. Wait, what? Isn't Silent Hill like in America? What? Okay, but the details from it is using as a juxtaposition on the worldview of beautiful, therefore horrifying. Silent Hill F is being written by, I can't pronounce this person's name, but he's an acclaimed Japanese visual writer, novel writer behind, and I can't pronounce those names either. The atmospheric trailer shows a scenic but sinister Japanese town that's been engulfed by some kind of fungus. The ending of the trailer, however, is genuinely terrifying, with a woman covered in fungus. So it's The Last of Us set in Japan, and if it happened in the 60s. Okay. Too easy. The game is being developed by NeoBard, a studio that has helped develop Capcom's most recent games like Resident Evil Rebirth. The producer of the series is, I can't pronounce his name, but he's a Nintendo veteran who worked on Luigi's Mansion and Pikeman. It's unclear what the F stands for, but it's shaping up to be a fairly exciting departure from the series. I'm like, yeah, we're not even in Silent Hill. So, as part of the transmission announcement, this was part of the whole multiple spin-offs and Silent Hill 2 remake announcement. So, yeah, that's it for this news. For the news from last week, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys again. Hoping more content can come out in the subsequent days and months. But we'll have to see where things go from here. This was Neo Reality Collective, hosted by your host Eric Brown. Pop culture news and reviews talk. Stay tuned for the last ad break and outro, and I'll see y'all again next time. Peace and take care, and keep on poppin'.
Be sure to donate to the brand and keep up to date with additional content on YouTube channels such as Neo Reality Entertainment, NRE The Wrestleverse, and NRE Pop Culture Omniversa.